Hello. Thank everyone for tuning in. Today is February the 6th, 2021. This is what we call Black History Month. And we know that Black History Month shouldn't only be celebrated in February, but we celebrate it year round. I'm so excited today on Believe Radio. We have some special guests in studio. I'm going to have each one of them introduce themselves. I hate chopping people names up, but I can say all of their first names. Kim, Jahara, and Kate. I am not going to try to mess with their last names, but we have some important information for you. Reparations for Black students, right? We're going to talk about that today. We're going to jump right into it.
Yes.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to allow Miss Kate to go ahead and introduce herself and kind of just talk to us and let us know what is reparations for Black students.
Hi, so my name is Kate Persons. I am the Black Family Liaison for Bay Area Plan, and I'm also a core leader for the Reparations for Black Students Resolution. This is a campaign led by Black parents, and it essentially came from a call from the community and a series of listening sessions. Because of the many issues in the Black community in Oakland relating to, for Black students, things that affect Black students as far as our education, all the way to homelessness and just all around lack of resources and just kind of the systemic racism that the Black students and community experience. So that's how the campaign was developed. That's the kind of the foundation of the campaign, but a lot of things have developed over the last year, and there's just a lot. So we're happy to be here, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic, and I'm sure that
Let me ask you one question. What is your role that you play in this before we pass it on?
Oh, well, so as the Black Family Liaison for Bay Area Plan, I help support parents in their leadership development. And so that's what we do as an organization. And then as a core leader for the Reparations for Black Students Resolution, we come together and we help raise the voice of the Black parents. So I am a Black parent and an Oakland native, as well as all the other core leaders and just leaders that are part of the parent leaders that are part of the campaign. And so we organize. I mean, essentially we organize and we raise our voices. We advocate on behalf of our children and the children, the larger community children.
Okay, all right. Who would you like to go next?
I'm gonna pass it to Ms. Jahara and she can introduce herself.
Okay.
Greetings, family out there in Radio Land and everyone in this studio. My name is Jahara McClinton. I'm a core leader of the Black Student Reparation Resolution. And I am in this space because we are at a fever pitch and we've been in trouble, but now with the COVID hitting, our community is being under siege in a lot of ways, and our schools, Oakland Unified School District, is struggling to recognize the needs of the Black and Brown community. And we came together, formed a committee, then we went out, found leaders that are more educated than us, that can go out, gather the information, do their networking. We have a task force that goes to board meetings. We go to the board meetings so we can keep up with what's going on. And thank you, Mr. Londa, for giving us this space.
Oh, absolutely.
We really need it. They're trying to close our Black schools, and we have been rallying five days straight. And so I am a parent of a special needs son, and when he was diagnosed at 2.5, so I had to learn how to advocate. I got him straightened out. And then I looked over here and I said, well, why aren't these geniuses learning? And I found out because he has resources through the Disability Act. They
Mm-hmm.
don't. And
Right.
so I saw the golf. And so once I got him set up, I said, well, now let me go fight for my other babies. And I've been here and we have wonderful leaders. We have wonderful support. And we
Mm-hmm.
just want the praying saints to know because we need y'all prayers. And
Mm-hmm.
I would like to pass the mic to Miss Kim Shree. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, core leaders. I'm Kim Shree Monfus, and I'm coordinating on the Reparations for Black Students campaign. And thank you so much for having us here, Ms. Yolanda, on your show to talk to the community about what's happening and the urgency
Mm-hmm.
that is upon us right now. So last year, the Oakland Unified School District Board of Education, passed the Reparations for Black Students resolution
Mm-hmm.
with its demands to repair the harm. 20 years of harm done to Black students and families, pushing out Black students, closing majority Black schools. And we know that families will make a way if they found a good, stable school that gives their children the quality education and meets their wraparound needs. Families will find a way to keep their kids in that school and predominantly in their neighborhoods. And what
Mm-hmm.
the Oakland Unified School District has done over these last decades has continued to close majority Black schools, harming Black families and their students, traumatizing them. Right now, and last year, they passed a resolution that said, number one, they wouldn't do that anymore. They take these steps to repair the harm caused.
Mm-hmm.
However, they've completely forgotten their own rules around creating a community engagement process if they were ever going to do anything to change schools. That's
Mm-hmm.
part of our discussion on the reparations and resolution for Black students resolution. And also they would do an equity impact analysis to understand if you're creating some criteria to close schools to save money or change a school for some reason, you would do an equity impact analysis to see which communities were being harmed. However, they've agreed and voted to not do that, to break their own rules and not do the equity impact analysis, not do the community engagement that is deeply needed, and have put out a list of new schools as of January 31st to close 7 majority Black schools: Brookfield, Carl Monk, Community Day, Grass Valley, Parker, Prescott, and Westlake. By the way, Parker and Prescott are the oldest public schools in the city and county of Oakland. So these are historic schools in
Mm-hmm.
predominantly Black communities,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is decimating part of the Black community in closing these schools. And then in the following year, they're saying a merger of the Black continuation schools, Bunch and Dewey, plus another merger of Manzanita and Fruitvale. And Kuro Matsushita Academy is also been identified for closure, which has a significant population of Black students. Escuelita and Hillcrest are also expanded as possible proposed for closure. And then they're just trying to save money, but they haven't identified, number one, really truly what their budget is. They
Mm-hmm.
say they're trying to save between 4.4 million and 14.5 million. But every time they've had a presentation, the dollars don't match anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they say, oh, this is the criteria that we're using to close schools, there are plenty of other schools that have that same criteria in the hills. They're more white and they're not on the list for closure. So if they meet the same criteria, how come they aren't on the list for closure as well? But somehow it's majority Black schools, majority are mixed Black and brown community schools, and our student population with special ed needs that they're closing. So that I wanted to just end for a summary for the community to understand the urgency because the vote is this coming Tuesday.
So the question that I have, what can we do as a community to help? We know we got today Sunday, we got Monday and Tuesday. For example, what can I do to help spread this word and get it out that we don't want these schools closed?
No. Thank you, Ms. Yolanda.
Yeah. What is it that the community can do? And each one of you can answer that. Is it only the board members that can vote at this point, or is there something we can sign or someone we can call? Like, what is it that we can do to get involved now?
Well, we actually have a website, and there's a toolkit where you can leave a comment, you can sign the petition, and we just did a week of action. We did City Hall, we had a rally, we did mural, we've been doing e-comments, we at the board meeting when and I want to put on the altar right here, Mike. If it wasn't for him sounding the alarm and leaking the list to the parents, there was 300. The next board meeting, it was 1,800 because we didn't know. They would have kind of like cut it behind us. So we already have a network set up where you can get involved, and it's for the layman like me that just have to read it and touch, and you'll go right to the portals where you can be extremely effective. And it's really gotten almost national attention at this point because everybody looks at Oakland. This is the home of the Panthers. They look to Oakland, and then our youth, our students. Oh my goodness, they really came out in numbers. They did walkouts, and so I want to pass the mic, and I hope I answered the question. But we have a website, maybe Miss. Oh, it's already in the link.
All right. It's this reparationsforblackstudents.org /endorse. So you can go ahead and log on. It's time now. We don't have time to wait. We need to really get involved. I'm a native of San Francisco. However, I lived in Oakland most of my life, and I have a lot of friends that went to these Oakland schools, Brookfield, Elmhurst, and a lot of other different schools. So I would hate to see these schools close. I mean, what's going to happen to our students when these schools close? Does it mean that these students are going to be in bigger, smaller classrooms with more students? Like, what is that going to do to the education of the students? But I'll let you go ahead and speak to that.
So if I can, what I'm doing for you, Mr. Yolanda, is I'm putting not only the website link, our website, Reparations for Black Students website link, where you can read about the campaign, you can see the resolution that was passed last year, and you can get really hour by hour up-to-dates on what actions we're taking on the campaign. I've also put in, yes, you read out the endorsement link, and then our fact sheet, but I'm also putting in, which is critical for folks that want to tell the Board of Education, do not do this. You've been doing this for 20 years, pushing out Black families from Oakland and from outside of their communities. And it's difficult to even sustain themselves. And by the way, this is happening during a pandemic.
Yes. Yeah.
That has not gone unnoticed. So I'm putting the link to the board meeting for folks to attend. And I'm also going to put in a link for them to leave an e-comment. You can comment and tell the board that you oppose this vote. You oppose this vote. And then you can comment from anywhere in the world, or people are watching from around the world. This has risen to the level. It has gotten the attention of our state electeds and nationally, and people are watching from all over the world. There's something to be said about virtual.
So the question I have is, so there's going to be a vote Tuesday. Who are the people that are voting?
The board members, the Board of Education members. We know, Johara said it, we know we have allies on the board.
Good.
And Kate can speak to who our allies are because they've been in deep community with us. And then I'm just going to put in the chat the folks who are not on our side, who have not voted on our side.
Okay. Yeah, Mike Hutchinson definitely is standing with the community in that we were not informed that this list was being even developed for proposal. Like the community was not in the know. Mike Hutchinson took it upon himself to go against the wishes of the board members and release that list to the public. And he was met with overwhelming support because their choice to skip community engagement and not even inform the community of what was being proposed is just, it's like people were coming to the board meetings. There was two. They were saying that 1,800 people showed up to one, and they were just saying this is like criminal. You are making decisions on behalf of the community and not including the community for not just how they feel about it, but how they'll be impacted by it. The students combining classrooms, shutting down schools in their neighborhoods where that's where children are fed, that's where children are nurtured, and a lot of those kids need their school just to, eat, just to be safe.
And I just want to come in with this point. When I did my research, most of those schools have Black principals. So it's a lot of layers to this. And that is what's so disturbing. You're not just closing a school. They speak of us like we're business, but it's family, community. When Big Mama don't see that baby at 3:00, she's alerted.
That's right.
You move them to a whole nother school. Where is the shelter? They don't understand that part about how crucial this is. And we ain't gonna have it. We're not standing for that. We're Black mothers, Black fathers, and we're not standing for it. And we came out in support immediately because there's legacy at Brookfield. They have childcare and after school. Why are you closing our arteries? It's more to be unraveled. And so yes.
Right. There are child care facilities attached to some of these schools. They haven't thought any of that through or even given us a reason. There are community members saying, okay, if you're planning to close these schools, convince us of why it's important. Convince us of what the reason is. And they've given us zero reason. So last week, the actions that we took are, we were rallying, we were protesting, the caravans have been organized, but moving forward, there will be a lot of action coming up, not just in the next week as far as the board meeting, but in the following weeks. And to stay informed about like, okay, well, I want to get involved or I want to support. The website makes it really easy because if you just go to the website and there's generally right there what's happening and how you can get involved. And also if you want to speak, there's an action toolkit that can help you through that. If you need help forming your statement or leaving an e-comment, it kind of holds your hand through that so that everyone can feel empowered. You don't have to be, you don't have to have some special qualification to be involved. Any parent, any community member can go to the website and it makes it very easy for you to raise your voice and to speak up on behalf of the students.
And can you say, talk about Ben Cedric, the other director? We talked about Mike Hutchinson, Kate. Will you talk about Ben Cedric Williams, Director Williams?
Is there anything you want me to speak to in particular?
Well, just
as far as our allyship?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we talked about one ally, we don't talk about the other ally.
That's right. So it's very obvious who, what board members have gotten into their position and are not standing in solidarity with our community. And then there are two, Ben Cedric and Mike Hutchinson, who have spoken up and helped to amplify the voice of the people as opposed to silence us. So there's just been more than one. I don't know if there's any particular instance that you wanted to speak to, Ms. Kimshree, but it's just, there's been several instances where the Board of Education has attempted to silence the public. And it only takes one, but we have two members of the board that have stood beside us, spoke up on our behalf, and defended our right to engage and have a say.
Exactly. And additionally, they've lifted the youth voice, right? They've
That's
lifted
right.
up the youth voice, which we're grateful for, because what has happened, especially in the board meetings, the youth have called in and they've been silenced. They've been silenced. They've tried to come in on their videos, and even the district hasn't upgraded their Google Chromebook so they can participate. So
Good.
every time a youth goes to make a comment, you'll hear something, oh, their Chromebook hasn't been updated by the district, so we can't hear that comment. Next, oh,
Wow.
another youth, their Chromebook hasn't been updated, so they cannot comment. Next. And so that essentially silences and oppresses the youth that have been trying to share their voice against these closures.
So I guess the question I would have is, and excuse my ignorance for me not knowing, but what I'm trying to do is, like I want to make sure that we get this message out to the community. But if the board, says, we're going to close their schools, is there some type of appeal that we can do? Or does that just mean, oh, they're going to be closed? How does that work?
We're appealing to our state representatives.
Okay.
So Assemblymember Bonta, Assemblymember Buffy Wicks,
Okay.
our state senator, Nancy.
Yes.
They're all on top of this and watching.
Yes.
We're also asking them to speak to our county superintendent.
That's right.
Monroe, who has a hand in this and could stop the action immediately, but has not. So we also need folks to make certain that she is on their radar as someone who could have stopped this and spoken up against it, but has not. She's not used the power she has to support Black students in Oakland Unified School District. And that is under the Alameda County umbrella.
And solutions have been proposed by the public. They're just choosing to ignore those solutions. And there are reasonable solutions to budget or saving or budget cuts that don't require closing any schools. They just are choosing to do this. They're pushing this along intentionally.
And I think the minuscule amount of money that they're going to save is not worth devastating generations of Black families. They didn't do an equity report. And I also want to say that we have math teachers, people of all walks of life. They are outraged. Why you keep beating down on the Blacks? They sick of it. And it's just, you're going to be delighted when you get to the board meetings to see that the spirit of Oakland, the spirit of this Bay Area is live and well. And it doesn't matter what color you are. They're tired of it. And they feel it as it's an abusive relationship. And we have to stop the violence, and that violence on our children, on our families, the teachers, custodians. They're working this in the pandemic, and now, we want to save money so you don't count. That is disturbing. So
that's very disturbing. So if they go to the website, can they see where they can attend the meetings? The next meeting that's coming up, is it on the website that we're going to post?
Yes.
Exactly. And I've also put in the chat, availability for e-comments where folks can comment right now. You can leave a comment on this.
Okay, good.
Right. So you can comment and oppose it. But I've also put in just the link to the meeting, the Zoom link to the meeting, so folks can just log in on when we have that vote, when they go to that special vote. But I wanted
to blast it out. Like I have connections on LinkedIn. I have like over 500 members, and just my social media, and then I'm going to ask them to also push it out, and whatever I can do to get involved and help, I would love to. I'm all about community. I don't know what district I live in, but I'm off of Coolidge area, so whatever that district is. But it doesn't matter. Aren't they talking about closing Fruitvale School too? Did I hear that? Yeah. So it's just time for us to come together, because I feel like if they close these schools, what other schools are they going to close? And like you raised the point you raised earlier, why isn't some of the schools in the Oakland Hills being closed? What's the difference?
Right. If they supposedly match that same criteria, and those schools are within blocks of each other, same type of school within blocks of each other, walking distance. Well, there's a cluster of those schools that if they meet that criteria, why aren't you closing them? That's odd, right? We know what it is. It's
Of
just
course.
being racist.
And also I like to say this. We don't care if they have fabulous schools. We want fabulous schools too.
That's right.
Why does it have to be either or? They're all children. And see, Miss Yolanda, this is what's going to increase the violence in Oakland. They say they want peace in Oakland. You stirring the pot, because people we're tired of the stranglehold. And anger it's fear, and fear turns into anger, and anger turns into violence. So they really are not thinking this thing through. And but we thank community for people like you, for Carroll 5 District 3, for all the people that soon as they heard start organizing, and including Parent Voices of Oakland and Black Student Reparations Corps. We got a lot, the unions, we got a lot of support.
Exactly. So I just want to just name some folks who have helped, and thank you for lifting up Councilmember Carol Fife, who has been with the campaign, and is her, like, all of her people come with her to support this. So we're grateful for that. Thank you for lifting her up. Bay Area Plan, Parent Voices of Oakland, Justice for Oakland Students, the Anti-Police Terror Project, Black Organizing Project. We want to thank Pat Brooks. Also OEA, the Oakland Educators Association. We've had support from SEIU, Local 10 to 1. Besides that, and when you close in these schools, that means you're also laying off educators. You're laying off staff, right? So there's also that undercurrent that's happening, and we have to recognize that. So one of the things that you had asked is, we don't know where that vote is going right now. Right? So I don't want to prejudge. I want to give board members to have an opportunity to use their conscience, to see the facts, and have a change of heart. And remember, you were elected by folks in the community. You went out with a better Run for Better Oakland, a Black Lives Matter mask on, and a Red for Ed t-shirt on that said, "Oh, well, you believe in these things." That's what you campaigned on. You stood with African Americans and Black and Latinx community members saying, "I'm with them, and they are part of the community that I will represent." And then you turn around and act like this, and we see your vote.
And these people are the President, Gary Yee, District 4, Vice President, Sam Davis, District 1, Director, Shanti Gonzalez, District 6, Director, Clifford Thompson, District 7, and Director, Amy Ng, District 2, to name them, since we're naming people. These are the people that have not stood with the community.
Wow. Well, I definitely, and if you guys want to come on again, even on Tuesday, let me know. Just let me know what time, so that I could, get you guys connected. The show's going to be airing in like 1 minute. So I want to thank each and every one of you, for what you're doing in the community. This is huge. And, Johara had mentioned what you guys were doing, but I didn't know how powerful and how deep this was. And so I'm going to be connecting with you offline. Whatever I can do, I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and just jump in. So I want to thank each one of you. I'm going to go ahead and end it now. I want you guys to tune in to Believe Radio. It's going to be coming up. It's probably going to be a minute late, but tune in and listen, and then share it to your social media platform so that they can hear this and get it out. Okay. So thank you all for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We'll take you up on that Tuesday invite.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Okay.
Nice
all the core leaders.
All beautiful Black queens on this thread.
And happy Black History Month.
All right, thank you.
Happy Black History Month. Bye.